He was once a prince who fell into darkness for love. He betrayed God and became an immortal vampire. Centuries later, he found her image in London. Revenge and love intertwined into an eternal curse. Prince and princess loved each other deeply. Their happiest moments were always when they were together. Fate suddenly changed their lives. An invasion forced the prince onto the battlefield. Before leaving, he prayed to the bishop for the princess's safety. If she were ever in danger, he would rather die than live without her. The prince went to war in obedience to God's command. On the way, the princess was ambushed by enemies. All her guards were killed. She fled desperately. When the prince learned she was in danger, he rushed to rescue her. Her horse stepped into a trap and fell. Her foot was caught in an iron clamp as the enemy slowly closed in. She was helpless in that moment. The prince arrived just in time, cutting down the attackers with all his might. But the princess was wounded in the chest and died in his arms. Enraged, the prince went to the bishop and begged God to resurrect his wife. The bishop said it was destiny that could not be altered. The prince stabbed the bishop to death, vowing that unless his wife returned, his life no longer belonged to God. 400 years later, a priest was summoned to a hospital. A strange patient was waiting for him. She was the fiancée of a royal heir, yet she had opposed the church during her wedding and attacked the crowd in a frenzy. Her identification showed she was 130 years old. The priest suspected she was a vampire. Sunlight burned her hand. She set a crucifix aflame. After tasting blood, she declared that her master was the prince. Her goal was to find the princess he had loved. The priest deduced that locating the princess would reveal the origin of the vampire. Meanwhile, lawyer Mark arrived at the castle. His mission was to handle one of Dracula's estates. The government wanted to purchase the property, and he came to confirm the sale. After dinner, Dracula warned Mark not to wander around. But at midnight, Mark crept into the cellar. He opened a coffin and found Dracula asleep. Gargoyles seized him. Mark realized Dracula was no ordinary man. Knowing he could not escape death, he wanted at least to learn Dracula's true identity. Dracula began recounting his past. He had once been God's most devout follower. Betrayed by God, he chose to rebel. Cursed with eternal life, he waited for his beloved wife for 4 centuries. Whenever he longed for her, he would lie beside her relics. It was her lingering scent that inspired him. He decided to use perfumes to lure women toward him. He traveled among royal courts and noble houses worldwide, but never found a trace of his wife. Once in France, he mistook another woman for her, and in rage, he killed her. He turned such women into servants, forcing them to help search for his lost love. One of them was eventually captured by the priest. Dracula returned to his castle to await further news. After hearing his tragic tale, Mark believed Dracula might spare him, because the woman he loved was still out there. Dracula grew curious and asked who she was. Mark replied that his fiancée's name was Mira, showing a locket with her portrait. Dracula froze at the sight. It was the very wife he had pursued for 400 years.